You can be, do, have anything you want. Anything. How's it going, my friends? My name is King Wasi. Welcome to my kingdom, where I help you become the king or queen of your reality. And in this video, what I really want to share with you is a concept that absolutely changed my life, which is that you can be, do, or have anything that you want. Now, it's called manifestation, which is a real thing. It's become a buzzword now, but I'm happy it's become a buzzword because it's true. Everything that you have in your life right now is a manifestation, because what manifestation really means is creation, right? It's the end result of a creation. Now, when I say you can be, do, or have anything you want, I mean literally you can be, do, or have anything you want. How do I know that? Well, I know that because it's the universal law. I know it through my own life experiences. I've seen when I manifested wanted things, and I've seen when I manifested unwanted things, right? And so in both categories, I've seen how I have literally created both types of experiences and continue to. Now, here's the crazy thing. You are constantly manifesting, you're constantly creating the reality that you're in. Always, all the time, okay? Every single second, every single hour, every single day, every single week, month, year, your lifetime, okay? Now, a lot of times people get confused about, well, there's certain circumstances in my life that I have that I know I didn't create, right? The negative ones, unwanted ones. Why the hell would I create that? Listen, I get you. It makes sense. Right? I know where you're coming from. So, for those, people have lots of different beliefs. That's where spirituality comes in, religion, regardless of whether you're religious, spiritualist, an atheist, scientist, regardless of what you are, it all applies, the same stuff applies, right? And what that really means is that sometimes you will use a belief system that you have to justify or to explain why something is the way it is. So I'm not going to get into why things were already there. What I genuinely believe is that it could be a combination of things, right? It could be things that were already decided, right? That before you came in to this physical body as non-physical energy, right? That you decided, you co-created with source, right? There's a source that exists. You call it God, call it the universe, whatever you believe in, right? We're a part of that source energy. We are that source energy in human form here, having this experience, right? And so you may have agreed on certain things, set up certain circumstances, or some people believe that because of the energy that you were before or from a past life, things like that. I don't really want to go into that too much because so many people have different beliefs on why certain circumstances exist now. What I'm going to tell you here is the most helpful thing. It doesn't matter what the fuck your circumstances are, okay? Doesn't matter how difficult they've been. Doesn't matter how difficult they are. You have the power to change every single thing, okay? So you can go on a different quest figuring out why. I think it's a waste of time because eventually, once you start manifesting what you want, you start creating more of the life you want, you'll realize how fucking powerful you are. You will realize you are the creator of your life. Because you really are. Okay? And so, if there's something unwanted going on in your life, you have the power to change that. You have the power to make it something wanted. You have the power to... This ring light's really hot, by the way. I'm trying. You have the power to literally change any unwanted circumstance and make it wanted. Okay? I have done the same. I've done this with money. I've done this with relationships. I've done this with career and business. I'm doing it right now with my fitness goals, right? You guys are going to see some transformations coming up soon, right? I've done this time and time again. I've also seen the opposite. I've seen where my life has gone to shit, where I've self-sabotaged, where I've had a lack of all those things or problems in all those areas. And so a lot of times people think, well, okay, if that's true, that's really good news, right? You can be, do, or have anything you want. Well, then why don't You have everything you want, right? You may be saying that to me or to anyone else who's teaching these concepts, like everything, right? First of all, how do you know I don't have everything I want? How do you know that, right? That's the first thing, right? Secondly, the way manifestation works, can you manifest things instantly? Yes. I manifest things instantly all the time. All of you do, whether you realize it or not, right? There's lots of things, beliefs you have in your subconscious right now that are embedded there. You don't have to consciously think, that are continuously creating the reality you're in. They're allowing you to watch me through some sort of screen. That's a manifestation you have created, your ability to do that. Now you're not consciously thinking of it because it's you've been believing that for so long, you've been thinking that for so long. It's just there. It's a subconscious belief you have. It's a collective belief. You don't have to consciously think it. So you're constantly manifesting things, okay? But some things may take longer than others. Now, here's the crazy part, okay? Before you came into this physical body, and I respect all of your beliefs, okay? They might be different, but let's stay with me here. Before we came into these physical bodies, when we were non-physical energy, right? With source, that non-physical energy, we basically had the ability, I should say have currently, because it all coexists, right? There's no such thing as time. Let's stick with me here. We have the ability to literally experience and manifest instantly, right? And so I want the Lamborghini. I want the hot girl, the hot guy. I want the dream body. I want the $1 million mansion. I want to be a billionaire. I want to do this. I want to do that, right? Whatever it is that you want. It's like boom, 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 boom. Okay? Now, as non-physical energy, when you realize that that is what you can have, right? You want to experience things differently, right? You want to continuously expand. You want to continuously experience more. You want to continuously know who you are, right? And so with source itself, if you've studied some of, quantum physics goes into this too, but the spirituality of it, if you really get down to it, if you've studied, where we come from, right? All the studies that are out there, there's differing opinions, but I'm just going to tell you what I've gathered. I've done the hard work for you, so you don't have to do it on your own, okay? When there is a non-physical energy, right, that exists, it is able to divide itself, or it divided itself basically into two. And so one is all the pure positive energy, and then one is the lack of it, the void, okay? So both exist now, right? Now, because the all exists, everything exists, and the void of everything exists, the everything can know who it is, experience itself, and the void can experience itself and also know who it is, right? It's all about realizing who you are, right? That non-physical energy, realizing who it is, okay? And so as it begins to create from there more and more dimensions, and then basically comes down to where we are now, right? Some of you guys might want physical visuals of it. Some of you guys may not need it. But regardless, we come all the way down to like this physical time-space reality. The reason why we're here is to experience more, to create more, to realize and see who we are, to experience more of that joy, that amazing happiness, that powerful feeling, right? That enthusiasm for more, because non-physical energy source is never ending. It's continuously expanding. It's going to be continuously creating. It's infinite. Infinite means infinite. It's never ending. It's going to continuously expand, right? Forever, okay? And you and I come from that. And so to make the game more fun, to make the game more interesting, you and I, we're here as non-physical energies in these physical bodies. We chose to came here. We chose to come here. We chose to forget certain things to make the game more fun, right? The game of life, so that by living the experience as primarily that pure positive energy with the ability to experience the void, with the ability to disconnect so that we can realize, hey, I don't like this, so let me create this instead. And then from here, this new creation, we can create more things, right? And then you have another void, which we call contrast, right? That's another word for it. Contrast is the unwanted, you experience in your life, right? It could be very minor or it could be very major, right? But that exists so that when we go through it, and again, you don't have to go through big contrast. Literally, it's a choice. You can literally take control of that too. By going through the contrast, the unwanted, you can decide, you know what? I actually don't want vanilla. I want chocolate. Because I tasted vanilla. I personally don't like it. It's not my thing, right? Or the contrast in your life can be as silly or simple as, I don't know if I should take a nap now or not. If I take a nap, this will happen. If I don't take a nap, I'll get these things done, but then I might be tired afterwards, right? That's like a simple example of contrast. Other examples of contrast are war, chronic illnesses, health issues, relationships ending in a painful way, money issues, going broke, struggling, all those things, right? And so all of that exists. Your ability as a God force, a non-physical force in this human body exists. Your ability to disconnect from who you really are, which is that pure positive energy, exists to experience some of that disconnection, to experience some of that void, so that you can continue to create. Because when you're able, when you are that pure positive energy, when you experience some of the lack, right, some of the void, you'll know, okay, I don't want that, I want something else. I don't want that, I want something else. It allows you to continue to expand. It allows you to continue to create, and that's what Source wants. And as extensions of Source energy flowing through us and to us, that's what we want, right? Now the question is why? Right, again, I mentioned this. First answer is because Source wants to experience itself, know who it is, right? Constantly creating, constantly expanding, an infinite being. And two, because of the joy from that expansion, the happiness, the love, right? That ecstasy, that thrill, right? Source experiences that emotion, and those are emotions we experience in our human bodies as well, right? As we're going through life, as we're creating, as we have the next goal, the next dream, the next vision that we want to pursue with enthusiasm, okay? It's what keeps us going. All of that have that within us, okay? So that's the why behind it. That's the why behind why we exist, why we're here. Could go into it a lot deeper. But with that said, because you have come here to expand, to create, to experience as much joy as you can, to experience as much happiness as you can, with contrast, right? There's time and space, right? Again, we've entered a reality where time and space exist. So, as non-physical energies in one plane or in one dimension of our beingness, like I said, things could just pop up immediately. Like, I want this, I want that, I want that. But in order to make the game more fun, interesting, right, and to experience ourselves in different ways, we add time and we add space. And so that's why a lot of us don't instantly manifest many of the things, many of the big things. And it's a good thing because, trust me, as much as I want to instantly manifest everything, like I want everything I want right now, like today, yesterday, right? It would also make life very boring. And if you kind of just continued getting everything you wanted without any game, any challenge, any effort, any pursuit of it in a fun way, why would you want to exist? Like, what would be the point of you existing? You're like, okay, this is boring. Like, you would mix it up. You would make it more, not the word challenging per se, but you'd make it more fun for yourself by adding in these little variables, adding in time, adding in space, right? Adding in something called, okay, it's not just going to be thought, it's going to be action as well. Because thoughts and actions together are what create the manifestations for us as human beings in this current time-space reality, okay? And so because of that, that's why certain manifestations may take time. Now, can you manifest instantly? Absolutely. Can you manifest huge things? Absolutely. Instantly? Absolutely. You can manifest anything you want, as big as you want. I love how Abraham Hicks says you can manifest a button or a castle. Same way, right? Same energy. It just comes down to your beliefs about it and whether you allow it or not, right? And I'll get into that later, but you can literally manifest anything, okay? We are not limited beings. We've been taught we're limited beings sometimes. We've been taught that from disconnected people at times. Usually a lot of religion teaches this. And I'd like to think it's well-meaning, it's well-intended. It's like parents trying to look after their children, trying to protect them because they think they know what's best. But when you do study lots of beliefs that have been passed down from different schools of thought, religions and whatnot, a lot of it is, even though it's well-intended, is limiting. It's controlling you. It's keeping you small. You're a limitless being. You can literally be, do, or have anything you want. You came here to do that. You yourself, okay, from your perspective, you have the entire world to yourself. Do you know there's people who exist right now in your reality, the world that you and I are currently in, right? We're coexisting in, who literally dominate the entire planet, right? There's people out there, there's billionaires, there's certain celebrities, right? And we often think, well, that's because of this or that's because of that. Like we put on some sort of excuse or circumstance, right? And then again, we like push ourselves down. We belittle ourselves by doing that. Or we say like, I don't want to be that famous. I don't want to be that rich. That's fine. You don't have to be, right? I'm just trying to point out something. Yeah, right. Right? I mean, the famous part, not everyone wants to be famous, but who doesn't want to be rich, right? Unless you got some weird thoughts going on there too. Like, oh, if I'm rich, then, something bad's going to happen. I'm going to be obligated to do this or do that, right? That's a different topic altogether. But here's the thing. You have been given an entire world to yourself. Like you literally have been given, or you gave yourself, this entire planet. Every human being. There's some religions that say that some religions say that the worst human who ever existed on Earth, the last person to get into heaven, will be given a whole, like a paradise the size of Earth, like a whole planet to themselves, right? That is you. I'm not saying you're the worst person in the world, right? But I'm just saying, like, a lot of these teachings, there's some truths in them too. If you tie it all together, they're kind of just, they're puzzle pieces that have kind of been passed down. People are trying to connect. But this whole planet is yours. Everyone in it is yours, right? And what I mean by that is that at the end of the day, everything you experience is because of what you're subconsciously or consciously, continuously, consistently thinking about. Okay? Thinking about. Which leads me to my next point, which is everyone is you pushed out. Did you know that? This is a hard concept for people to grasp, but at the end of the day, everyone is you pushed out. Meaning there's infinite realities that exist right now, okay? And just for your life, let's just talk about your life. There's infinite realities and versions of you and your life that exists right now, infinite. Meaning, if you can think of a version of your life, that means that it exists right now, because there is no such thing as time, which means you have access to it right now, which means that you can manifest that now or eventually in this time-space reality. Isn't that crazy? And because there's infinite realities that exist, infinite versions of you that exist, that are possible, there's infinite versions of everyone else who exists on the planet too. Which means how you consistently think of someone, a person in your reality, is how they will start to manifest and show up in your life. This is a hard one for a lot of people to grasp, right? It was a hard one for me to grasp too. I'm still learning it, right? But I understand it a lot more now. And so a lot of people get mad about this one because they're like, well, so you're telling me the person who hurt me, I created them, they're me pushed out? You're blaming me? Well, kind of, right? Kind of, right? I'm just being real with you. I don't think you intentionally did it. I don't think I intentionally brought upon unwanted situations or people in my life, right? Why the fuck would I do that, right? But somewhere, somehow, who knows where we got it from? We picked it up as children. We picked it up, certain belief systems we had when we were younger or before we came here, whatever it is, right? For some reason, we have assumptions about certain people, okay? And then we continue to assume and think negatively about someone. The more negative of that person will show up. And so this can be proven because let's say there's someone you just don't like, you just don't get along with, you think they're a bad person. But you know other people, other relatives, other friends, other people who think they're very nice, who love them. And you're like, what? How do they not see what I see, right? How can they think they're a good person? Has that happened to you before, right? Happens to all of us, right? It's because you're getting a version of that person, you're extracting a version and energy of that person out of the infinite versions of them that exist that is consistent with your dominant thoughts and assumptions about them. So you continue to get that version of them. Whereas other people, if they have positive thoughts or positive assumptions dominantly about this person, for whatever reason, they're going to attract that energy, that version of this person. It's the same person, but everyone's going to experience a different version of that person. Right? This is very easy to see in romantic relationships. If you're in a romantic relationship with someone, if you think very positively, really highly, continuously, those are your dominant thoughts, that person shows up very different for you, right? As the most beautiful person in the world, the most loving person in the world. They make you feel so amazing, right? But to a random stranger who's walking across them, the stranger may not see them that way. They don't have thoughts or assumptions about that person already. They just walked past Maya, right? They're just a complete stranger to that person. And so this is a really, really fucking trippy concept. And a lot of people misconstrue it and make it mean negative things. It's nothing negative at all. It's nothing to be scared about either. It's just something fun, right? And I say if you're not ready to digest or use this concept to your advantage to make you happier and healthier and wealthier and more loved, then don't, right? It's totally fine. You can come back to it at some other point. But I think it's the best thing in the world, right? Now, some people will say, well, then are you saying that other people don't have free will if everyone is me pushed out? No, everyone has free will. Everyone has free will, okay? But in your reality, no one has free will other than you. Right? That's the best news that I can tell you. Now, this scares a lot of people. I came from a religious background, and I'm not really religious per se anymore. Obviously, there's lots of things I love about it, but I would say my beliefs are very different now than just of a particular religion, right? They're much more advanced. I feel like they're much more awakened. They're more transcendent. Let's say that, right? They're more aligned with who I really am and the truths, the universal truths. And so a lot of times religious people get scared of that concept, or they think it's weird. They're like, oh, you're controlling people. Actually, you already have been. Even if you're the most religious person in the world, what you continuously think about someone is how they show up for you. So whether you think it's controlling or not controlling, you're doing it. It's happening. You're manifesting that version of everyone in your life. It is the way it is. And if you don't like the version of that person you're manifesting, the great news is you can take control of that. Now, some people you don't give a fuck about. You don't want them in your reality. You don't want to deal with it. You can do that too. You can literally have people not exist in your reality, right? It doesn't mean that they die or that they go away. It doesn't mean that they leave planet Earth and go into some spaceship. It just means that if you continuously affirm and think and persist in that thinking that they're just no longer a part of your reality, I'm telling you, eventually they won't. They'll still exist, but then you just won't run into them. You'll never hear from them. You'll never hear about them. The universe will orchestrate ways for that version of your reality to exist out of the infinite versions that exist. Because that's how powerful you are. All right? Now, when I said no one has free will in your reality, it means that because it's your reality, again, if you consciously, continuously think certain thoughts about someone, you'll extract that version of them. Now, what I believe happens is that there are certain souls, the people that we do have interactions with on this planet in our lifetime. I feel like we've all chosen to come here to mingle and interact. Like imagine like an 8 sign, right? So it's like kind of like that. So we're all coexisting, co-creating together. And so there may be set things there, sort of set personalities and traits of those people where you say, I had nothing to do with that version, good or bad, right? That's fine. That could be fair. You could say that. But now, if there is a good version of them, you want more of that, you're in control of that. By thinking of them more positively, this is where a lot of people talk about gratitude, appreciating people. These are religious concepts that are very amazing, beautiful concepts, right? Then you get more of that. People believe that God, something outside of you, will then bless you with more of that. And that's fine too, to believe that, right? They're all good things. These are all good teachings. Appreciate someone, God will give you more things to appreciate in that person. That's what I just said. It's the same thing, right? I'm just saying it differently. I'm saying it in a more universal truth type of manner so that you really understand that you're in control, that God, source, universe, whatever it is that you believe in, has given you the power. You are a part of that extension, that power here on earth, experiencing life, creating the most joyous, the most amazing life that you can, of course, with contrast, with some of the unwanted, so you can continuously expand and create more. So you can create what has not been before. Okay? Because all of us here, we're on the leading edge. We're constantly creating new things based on new desires we have that did not exist before. Isn't that amazing? It's one of our purposes, right? And so when I say the free will concept, it's not like you're controlling someone. It's just how you continuously think about them is what will show up, because there's infinite versions of people who exist. Okay? So think of your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, parent, sibling, boss, best friend. Think of someone, okay? Think about someone you like. Let's just think about someone you like. Someone that you kind of think positively of. Just think of one person. It could be anybody. Okay? Now, isn't it true that most of the time that you don't think negatively of them? Isn't it true that most of the time you think positively and you don't even have to consciously think it? Isn't it also true that you don't have to consciously think positive thoughts? You just have this subconscious belief. It's just embedded in you. Like, yeah, that person's there for me. I can count on them. They're amazing. They're really nice. They're great. Right? They're my ride or die. They're family. They're friends. Like, you just have these embedded subconscious beliefs. You don't have to consciously think. The reason why that is because based on experiences or whatever else, you consistently thought the same positive thoughts about this person. And so because of that, they are you pushed out. They are your thoughts pushed out. And you're attracting and selecting that version of them, right? The infinite versions of people, that person that can exist, right? You're selecting just like, that one version of them, right? And you can mix and match different versions, right? You can have a lot of fun with it. It's not just like one version you pick and that's it forever. You can always you can change what you want, all that stuff. But that just goes to show that you're constantly selecting someone. Now think of someone that you don't like, okay? Or think of someone that you may have felt hurt by in the past or angered by in the past, right? Or you felt like maybe isn't a good person, or even now, okay? How often do you think positively of them? Positively of them. How often? Probably very rarely, right? Most likely you think negatively of them. That's your repetitive thought whenever it comes up. Even if you don't think about them a lot, when you do, most likely it's negative or something that's not really positive. Guess what? Because those are your dominant, continuous thoughts about that person, they continue to show up that way because through your dominant, consistent thoughts, you are selecting that version of them from the infinite realities and versions of them that exist. And that's who they continue to show up as for you. Let that blow your mind a little bit. So the good news is that if there is an unwanted version of someone who exists in your life and you want to change it. Or even let's say there's people who you love and there's some unwanted things about them that you wish were different. You can do that. You can do that. People say you can't control others. I agree that in the moment it's hard, and like I said, certain manifestations may take time and persistence, right? But I do believe either quickly, it can happen instantly, I'm not saying it can't, or it can take time, but you can change the way people show up in your life. If you don't want to use the word control, don't, right? A lot of people have negative associations with that. I don't really give a fuck, right? Whatever makes you happy. But you can literally alter. Like in a lot of religions, people believe in prayer, dua, like, you pray for someone to, get a feeling in their heart to hire you for the job. You pray for this girl or guy to like you and want to be with you or marry you, right? You pray for that money to come in, for that that loan to come in, right? You pray for your mom to get well. You pray for your dad to return back safe from his trip. Whatever it is, right? What you're doing there is you're putting out a thought of what you want. You believe that it's going up to God, and that if God is kind enough, that he will then bestow that blessing, make that prayer come true, a reality. There's nothing wrong with thinking that. There's nothing wrong with doing it that way if that way works for you, right? There's billions of people on the planet who do it that way. And if you want to, do that, right? You don't have to change the way you do things, especially immediately. But it's the same thing, right? You're basically asking for something. You're believing that source and entity God is granting it, and then it'll be given, right? And what I'm telling you is when you're doing that, you're basically trying to select a different version of that person, right? You're selecting a version of the boss who will hire you, the loan advisor who will approve your loan, the guy or the girl who's going to fall in love with you or decide to marry you. You're literally asking for the same thing, but because you've been taught that it's pious, that it's a good thing, that it's a religious thing to do, to pray for it, you don't find anything wrong with it. And you shouldn't, because there is nothing wrong with it. But sometimes when someone says, hey, you can just continuously think certain thoughts about someone, the wanted version of someone, and that version is the one you will select and experience in your life, you're like, oh my God, I'm controlling them. Like, that's not okay. Like, wait, what? They have no free will in my reality? Right? People freak out. It's like, how is that different from praying? If you're religious and you're praying, you just believe that you're praying to an entity, a God, and that God's bestowing the blessing. So it's like you, God, and then God is changing that person for you, right? So you're still selecting a different version of that person. And if you want to do it that way, that's fine. What I'm saying is that because you're an extension of God, source energy, right? That source has given you everything you need. So you can continue to ask, or you continue to affirm and think, and you'll still manifest that version of that person, right? It's the same thing. I'm just really pointing out here how there's no such thing as control or whatever. Now, people have their fucking morals and ethics around what's okay and what's not okay, but it's a personal thing. I'll just tell you right now, morals and ethics, have the morals and ethics you want, what feels right for you, okay? But for one, don't fucking go around telling people what's moral and ethical for them, because it's not your fucking life. It's their life. Let them do whatever the fuck they want, right? Obviously, if it's not harming you, right? If it's harming you, step up. But so many of us are so fucking hell-bent on trying to control how other people do things, judge them, find something wrong with it, right? A lot of it comes from, some of it comes from religion, right? But some of it just comes from society in general, even atheists, right? It's human nature to judge others. If people are doing things differently than the way we are. Like, I would never do that, right? I would never do that. It's like all these, people who talk about not being arrogant and being humble, like the so-called religious people, they're sometimes the most arrogant or humble people. Not all of them. There's some beautiful, amazing people who are very religious who aren't. But sometimes they are extremely arrogant. They may not show it, they may not say it, but deep down inside, they're thinking it. I run across several, even after years of knowing them. They make that one slip when you're with them. They say that one thing about that person. You're like, what the fuck? I had no idea that person actually thinks that way. Like, this whole time they were putting on an act, right? Of being like super religious, but also being super humble and not judging others and thinking they're above everyone. So that's a different topic altogether. But I'm making this point here because Don't let anyone tell you that if you go about thinking positively or about someone in a way that you want to experience as the God co-creator of your reality, that there's anything wrong with it. Because there isn't. And everyone's already doing that, whether they realize it or not. Now, some people will say, well, you can only do that to a certain extent. You should only do that to a certain extent, right? I don't believe in any of that stuff. I don't. It's false. It's not true. It's not accurate. Okay? Again, they're people's own limitations, own beliefs. It's their own morals and ethics. You create your own morals and ethics. I'm not saying you have to throw everything away in one day, right? I'm not saying tell everyone to fuck you and fuck your morals and ethics. I'm not saying that. Okay? You can find a way to have both. You can take what you like, keep that in your reality, and then you can create your own morals and ethics. I've done that. It's been hard as fuck, right? With the culture, religion, the upbringing, everything that I come from, right? It's still challenging. However, I wouldn't have it any other way. This is how I want to live my fucking life. This is what I want to experience. This is the man that I want to be, right? I want to live life on my own terms, knowing that I am one with Source, God. I am one with that energy, right? And I feel closer to that Source now than I ever have. And it's because of all of these teachings, right? And like I said, you may not master them all in one day, but that's why, like I said, in this time-space reality, there's such a thing called persistence and consistency and repetition, right? Repetition of thoughts will create them to be assumptions, right? And beliefs, right? A belief is just a thought you think over and over again. So once something becomes a belief, it gets embedded in your subconscious. And then you don't have to consciously think it. You really don't. This can be proven in so many ways again. If you wanted to get a new job, you wanted to graduate, you wanted to get a new house, new car, you wanted to get a new lover, you wanted to leave the lover, you wanted to have a baby, you wanted to lose weight, gain weight. Whatever it is that you desired, that you wanted, you first had a thought about it. Right? And then, even if you took a bunch of action, guess what? You only took the action after you thought about that desire. So, for example, if you were trying to lose weight, you would consistently have had to think, hey, I need to go to the gym, right? Because that's how you lose weight. Because you need to lose weight. I need to eat this thing so that I lose weight. I need to not eat this thing so that I lose weight. You're constantly thinking about losing weight, right? Because you're constantly thinking about losing weight, and then you're taking the actions to do it, you end up manifesting, creating that result, right? So that's how anything works in life. A lot of people think that manifestation is something that's outside of them or some new thing they have to learn. You don't. You can learn how to do it in a way where you can actually get what you want, get more of what you want, create an amazing, beautiful, masterpiece life, step by step, right? You can do that, but you've always been a master manifester, right? You came here as a master manifester. You're constantly manifesting, whether you realize it or not, right? And because you're dominantly pure positive energy, you've come here as pure positive energy, as an extension of Source, you don't have to be worried about your manifesting, right? It's mostly dominant, but like I said, we have the ability to block ourselves off from that pure positive energy that's always coming into us, through us, to us, right? We can pinch that off. That's the contrast. We can stay there. And that's why the problems, if there are problems in your life, continuously get bigger and bigger and bigger. Or why the same patterns keep happening over and over and over again. It's because you're having thoughts consistently about what you don't want more than what you do want on that one subject. Any subject, think of it as a stick, right? Any subject. Again, it has the wanted, pure positive energy, where you and I, Source, all of us, right, come from. And then it's the void, the lack of, the unwanted. So in any topic, you can stay here or you can go here. You can be somewhere in the middle going back and forth, right? How many times does that happen? Where, you make some money and then you lose it. Or you have a great relationship and then things go bad. or you get a good health result and then you gain all the weight back, or something else happens, right? Like, how many times does that happen? Because it's like a seesaw, right? But you can train your brain, you can train your mind just by thinking consistent thoughts. Another word for that is affirming. Just by affirming the thoughts about the things you do want, you can stay more here most of the time. If not all the time eventually. But it takes work and it takes practice. When I say work, it doesn't mean that you can't instantly manifest something. When I say work, usually for things that you have resistance about, it will take work. And all resistance means is, let's say there is something you desire, you want, and you've been having a hard time getting it. All it means is that you've had more thoughts opposing what you want. Okay, there's what you want, but then for some reason you have more thoughts about how you can't get it, how it's hard for you, how you're never going to get it, how because of the past experiences, you know it's going to be hard for you to get or have or be. And so because you have more of those constant dominant thoughts going on in you, that's what continues to block this manifestation from coming in. How do you deal with that? How do you get rid of that resistance? How do you get rid of that blocking, that infinite pure positive energy, abundance, everything you want to you? How do you do that? Simple. You just affirm the thoughts about what you want consistently. You just do the repetition, right? Because right now, if you have tens, hundreds, thousands, millions of thoughts have been going on for a while about the unwanted, you're just going to flip it. You're going to start to consciously think about what you do want all the time, whenever you can, right? There's different ways you can affirm. You can do it throughout the day. Some people do it while they're praying. Some people do it while they're meditating. You can set aside 10 minutes, right? 10-minute method's very popular. There's lots of ways you can do it, but it's about being consistent. A lot of people, I think, give up on consciously manifesting because they'll try to think positive thoughts about something that they really, really, really want. And usually they have some resistance or a lot of resistance on what they really, really, really want. And because they try this thought work, like, okay, I'm going to think about it. I'm going to try to be more positive, think about it more. They try it for a day or two and they don't see any changes or movement. They're like, this shit doesn't work. It's stupid. And they go back to, by default, believing the unwanted thoughts, the negative thoughts about that one thing. Guess what? Then they just move further and further away from the thing that they want. And sometimes they never get it, right? Why would you do that? What a big price to pay. Bro, sis, I know it's hard. I know it's hard to, consistently show up and think about what you want. I'm not even saying you have to feel good, right? There's a whole school of thought that talks about how you need to feel positive to manifest, to attract what you want. And although there's a lot of mixed education out there about that, my personal knowing and belief is that your feelings are great indicators if what you're thinking is in line with what source is also thinking about that topic and or you, right? They're good indicators about the thoughts you're feeling to tell you if you're on the right track or not. Okay? But beyond that, yeah, there may be some power there. Like, the more you feel something, it may create a lot of magnetic energy in terms of drawing that thing into your experience. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to feel good. The feeling good part, I really believe, is just when you know that you've thought something, you either asked for it, and then you believe it's done, that you're gonna receive it, it's gonna come to you, you don't know how, you don't care how, but it's just gonna come. You believe it's gonna be given to you by God, source, universe, right? Yourself, right? And then when you believe that, because you believe it, because you feel good about it, when you ask or when you affirm that thought, you do feel a sense of connection, okay? And I call that alignment. Those moments that we have, all of us have them. Sometimes throughout the day, multiple times a day. Sometimes maybe you haven't had in a while. Maybe it's been a day or two, whatever, right? But we have them, right? It's called alignment. So it's you and you aligning. It's this version of you, right? As non-physical energy and source, right? Aligning. It's like where we come from. That's why for a lot of people, a lot of cultures, if you study history, the geographically, the people who struggled the most sometimes with just their lives in general needed to connect more with that source. They needed to pray more, they needed to meditate more, 5 times a day, once a week, right? And it's interesting because that's been, taught now and like throughout history now. It's been passed on to current generations through religion, through different teachings. And a lot of people still follow those to the T. There's nothing wrong with it if it's helpful for you, if it makes sense for you, right? Sometimes I don't think it's necessary when you already do feel aligned, because Source wants you to experience life, enjoy life, experience the joy, the happiness, the love, right? The unconditional love, and to create. But when we're needing to connect to Source, when we're like off track, when we've experienced too much contrast, we want to align. And sometimes, just like you would need to work out consistently every single day for maybe several months to really hit a big physical fitness goal, sometimes you may really need to put in more effort in the beginning if you've been really off, or if you've gone through an experience, somehow you've manifested some sort of experience in your life that's unwanted. You don't know how it happened. It's okay. We don't need to know how. But you may need to connect more and align more with Source then. And that's when a lot of people do get into meditation, right? Dr. Joe Dispenza's teachings are incredible, right? Whether it's 5 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day, a lot of religious people pray a lot more. They get closer to God in that sense, right? That becomes like their way of aligning. Whether they pray 5 times a day, once a day, whatever it is, it's the same thing, right? They need that connection more. They need to align more with who they really are. It's their inner being in themselves, God in themselves, Source in themselves, the universe in themselves, right? That connection reminds us, it gives us that feeling, it gives us that fuel. It reminds us that we are unconditionally loved, that we are unconditional love. It gives us what we need then from that alignment to go out and then to experience our human lives, which is why we came here. Okay, so I think it's a great thing to constantly align, and if the prayer helps you do that, the meditation helps you do that, the affirmations help you do that, do whatever it takes to help you get aligned. But that's a really, really important part about life. And in some seasons of your life, you may need to do it more. And when you feel like, I'm pretty aligned, I feel pretty good most of the time. I feel pretty secure with my relationship with Source, right? You may not have to do it as much. You may not need to meditate as much. You may not need to pray as much. Right? I think it's a great thing to do daily. I certainly do it daily. I have my own ways of doing it. And lots of people practice this in different ways, right? For some people, a prayer is just gratitude. It's thanking God, thanking Source for blessings, small or big, right? There's lots of different ways you can do it. But the key is to make sure that you seek that alignment, okay? You figure out a way to do that for yourself. And the more aligned you are, which is the feeling, you feel that alignment, right? That allows you then from that place to think easier, to take action easier, to manifest and to create easier. So I do agree with that whole concept. That's true. But for the sake of what I'm teaching here, if you want to affirm something in your life, more money, a better job, business, better physical fitness, a better partner, let's say your current boyfriend, girlfriend, your current spouse, you want a better version of them, an ideal version of them. Let's say you want to manifest a new person. Let's say there's a crush or someone you like and you want that person in your life. Just like you would pray for those things to happen, you can literally just think the thoughts of what you want. You just affirm, right? Like literally that's it. So if you wanted more money, you would just affirm as if you already have it. And so here's the thing with thinking and affirmations is you want to have a thought that's natural to you. It doesn't have to feel good. You don't have to feel positive. You just think it, right? And you literally will just say it as if it's already done, right? So let's say you wanted $10,000 in the bank, right? And you don't have that. Let's say you're short. So you would just affirm, I have $10,000 in the bank, right? Now, if I was thinking this throughout the day whenever I remembered, if I was going throughout my day, I'd kind of affirm as in, okay, I have $10,000 in the bank. I have $10K. I'd probably say $10K, right? That's easier for me. So I'm like, okay, I have $10K in the bank. 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 Right? Now, you don't have to ignore life. I want you to be present with your responsibilities and other people. But like I said, this is why I think people take out time to pray and to meditate so they can ask for what they want or affirm the thoughts about what they want. So if you want to create that as a practice, do it. Just like you need to be disciplined, especially in the beginning, with workouts or any nutrition plan to hit your physical fitness goals, or to study if you're trying to get a certificate or graduation, or in your business, you have to be disciplined with showing up, doing the work. The same thing. Same thing. Why are we willing to do it for those things but not for this? It's like, yeah, this stuff doesn't matter. What? This is the most fucking important stuff. This determines your entire reality. This determines all the other things that you think you need to work for. This trumps that. It's beyond that. It's above that. It's a hard thing to do, though. Just like any new practice, any new discipline, right? If you haven't been working out, you can't just go to the gym and be like, I'm going to go to the gym and work out 3 hours a day, consistently, Monday through Friday. I'm never going to skip. It's not going to happen, right? You do it over time. And even if you do that consistently, you quit after 2 weeks, right? You never do it again. So you can build these things, right? But other examples of affirmations, I mean, there's so many, right? Let's say, like, I can make future videos about if you want to manifest a specific person. Just really, really, really amazing and fun. Or if you want to manifest a certain result, you want that house, you want that car, you want to grow more followers on social media, you want to make more money or start a business, you want a different career, whatever it is. It could be something small or it could be something big, right? The small stuff's fun, but I go for the big stuff, right? We're here for the big stuff. And so you literally just think the thought about as if you already have what you want, right? If it's a person, it's like, okay, so-and-so is so in love with me. So-and-so can't get enough of me, right? So-and-so's obsessed with me, right? In a good way. So-and-so can't stop thinking about me. They're so in love. They treat me so well. Even if they're showing the opposite, again, you may have some dominant assumptions there that are the opposite. You continuously affirm, like you continuously go to the gym or you eat healthy so that you can start to slowly or quickly see results. Same thing. You affirm about the version of them that you want, a person that isn't in your life yet. You can create a new specific person, right? New SP, you can manifest a new person, have a list, right, that you create. Or someone that you see, you want to select a version of them that you'd love in this lifetime in your reality. Or someone you're already with, you just want to select a better version of them, right? Other examples, physical fitness goals is one I'm working on right now. So you guys are going to see my transformation over the next few months. I've already lost over 15 pounds since I really went all in and started my journey. It's like a few weeks ago, so I'm doing good. And one of the affirmations I had was, I'm in my dream body. I'm in my dream body. I'm in my dream body. I'm in my dream body, right? That's easy for me. I also get a visual of what that looks like, how I want to look, and how I want to be jacked and ripped and lean, have six-pack abs, and just like everything, right? And it could be very specific or it could be vague. Okay, I'll probably have to do another video on affirmations, but that's just to give you an idea of what you can start to think more whenever you remember, or set aside some time to think throughout the day, a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you can do to start with. And to manifest what you want, another thing you can do is whenever the negative thought comes up, because now what I'm really teaching you is to become self-aware, because self-awareness, bro, is the biggest fucking skill. If you develop, your life will always be fucking amazing. You will have ups and downs. We all do. I do too. Okay? Like I said, it's a contrast of life. But you can choose what kind of contrast you have. Haven't you noticed some people don't have a lot of contrast? If they do, it's very light. Your life is pretty good. All the different areas and departments, right? Some people have really good lives in some areas and some really fucked up lives in some other areas of their life, right? Or what seems to us like it might not be the happiest. And then other people have just miserable lives in every department, right? And so those are just different levels of contrast, right? And so the way you want to think about it for yourself is you just want to start to affirm for the things that you want the most right now, that you need to change the most right now. You can affirm for all the different things. It doesn't have to be for one thing, or it could be one thing at a time. There's lots of different ways you can do it, okay? So this video has gone fucking long. It's an hour-long course right here for you. But I'll have to do more videos on affirming, manifestation, how I've manifested all this wealth, how I manifested becoming an online coach, a 6-figure, 7-figure entrepreneur, how I manifested so many more things I want to keep private right now, involving my personal life and relationships and so many other things, right? And really being the version of myself that I wanted to be, right? I'm being that version of him right now. I'm showing up and teaching you, to help you, to pass this on. It feels so good to help you, right? And so if you did find this helpful, this whole topic, this mini course basically, on that you can be, do, or have anything you want, go ahead and drop me a comment below. Feel free to subscribe, right? And send it to someone, like it, share it with someone, right? If you find that it would help them too. Now, I just want to leave you with this. You are the most powerful person in your reality, okay? You are one with Source. You are an extension of Source. Don't forget that. Don't forget how powerful you are, how powerful you were created to be, to come in to this time-space reality in this physical form. You are a limitless being. That means that you can be, do, or have everything you want. And sometimes when we desire something, we feel like, okay, maybe I can have that, but then I won't be able to have that because of this, and because of these people, and because of this thing, and this thing, and this thing. And listen, I've gone through that, right? But what I want to tell you is you can literally select any reality. You can swap and combine different realities together. So let's say you want that one thing. Any obstacle that comes up for you, do this in your mind or do it on paper or on your iPhone, whatever. Just write down, yeah, that obstacle, boom, that's different too. This obstacle, nope, it's my version of my reality. This obstacle, nope, everything in my life is perfect. This obstacle, nope, it's not there, right? Because you're curating your reality, which means whatever you desire, and then immediately the obstacles come up, either you figure out a way to go through them, to overcome them, right? Maybe you set up a plan to work out consistently and you stick to it. Maybe like there's practical things you can do. And or if they seem things that are impossible in this reality, that just can't happen in this lifetime, I really do dare you to start to affirm, start to think thoughts, right? That you can have that thing and that there will be no obstacles. That all these obstacles that are there, you flip it to like, nope, everything's perfect in my reality. Nope, I shifted realities. I selected a version where this doesn't exist. As impossible or as crazy as it may seem. Because I've done this so many times. I continue to do it. I'm doing it my whole life. Right? Shifting realities, creating different realities, selecting the version of the reality that you want. And you can mix and match whatever you want, and you can change it however many times you want to. And the change doesn't have to be chaotic. When you change realities, when you select realities, it doesn't mean everything that changes. You can literally decide that too. I want everything that's good to be there, to be the same, my loved ones and everything else. I just want these things to change, right? About my life, or these people, or these circumstances. You can do that. You can do that. You can do that. You can be, do, or have everything and anything that you want. So start creating it. Start thinking about what you want. Think it consistently, right? Be that version of you. Be the version of you. Pretend to be that version of you. Act as that version of you. Think as that version of you. Start showing up in the world as that version of you who is who they want to be, who has what they want, who is doing what they want. Be, do, have. Okay? Because then you're going to consistently think those thoughts anyway, and the actions will come to you naturally. I think I have a couple of videos about those too, but that's just the new self exercise. Being your new self by thinking like them and acting as them. When you consistently, again, do that, it may be challenging in the beginning, it may be uncomfortable, just like it's uncomfortable starting a new diet or go to the gym again. But once you do it enough, it gets easier and easier and easier. And guess what? You start to see results. You start to become that version of yourself. You start to do things like that version of yourself. You start to have things like that version of yourself. You will literally create a new reality for yourself. All right? Okay, my friend. So I'm going to end it right there. We're just about under the hour mark. Hope you love this. Love you so much. I hope you get every single thing you desire, because this is your fucking reality. You came here to get everything you want. You came here to realize how loved you are, how beautiful you are, how powerful you are. And I know that through this and by practicing this, you will start to manifest every single thing you want. Some of them instantly, and some of them, if they take time, it's okay. Learn to enjoy the journey as much as you can. Be as happy as much as you can. Feel good as much as you can. You don't have to feel good to affirm and to manifest things. You can just think the thought, even if you feel like shit about it, and it'll still manifest, right? But try to enjoy the journey as much as you can. Try to have fun along the way. Do things, watch things, think about things that make you laugh or make you happy. I promise it'll create more of that alignment with you and Source, who you are, and it'll just start to manifest things easier and easier and easier. Lots of love. I'll see you in the next video.